guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel we post writing tips, unboxings, book hauls, book reviews and the occasional vlog. And today we have a writing tips video for you and we are discussing my top 10 favourite romance tropes. It is February, which is the month of love, supposedly. So I thought it would be fun to go through my top 10 most loved romance tropes. If you haven't seen my video on the difference between tropes and cliches, the link is above me now. But in summary, a trope is basically a common used story idea which has been repeated. It becomes a cliche when it is overdone or you don't like it. Some are just banned, or should be. And some are just personal choices. There may be tropes that I love that you are gonna cringe at, and I can see why. But before we get into my top favourite 10 romance tropes, don't forget, if you like what you see, to subscribe to this channel. Your continued support means a lot, so thank you guys so much. Alright, we're starting traditional with number 1, friends to lovers. Bear with me. This is a quite common trope, though I feel like it's becoming more common now than it used to be. It used to always be enemies to lovers was the top one, but friends to lovers is slowly becoming more and more popular. And the reason I like this trope, it's often respectful. Friends to lovers is realistic. It kind of, for me, promotes the idea that your love interest and your partner is also your friend. In my head, if you are in love with someone and you want to be with them forever, then you should definitely be friends as well as lovers. Because if you're not friends, I mean, you're going to have some boring nights, basically not having anything in common. So that is why that is my number 1. Number 2, enemies to lovers. Yeah, but I am very specific on the type of enemy. Here's what I mean. By enemies to lovers, I mean where you have two people who are on opposing sides. For example, say you have someone who's sent to assassinate someone and the other person happens to be the guard watching that person. Now they've got entirely different views of opinion, but somehow they end up talking and somehow they get a grudging mutual respect for one another. Then they end up meeting quite often due to constant attempt at assassinating this person, and that grows into a friendship, and that grows into being allies, and then that grows into love. That is the kind of enemies to lovers I am into. I am not into bullies then fancying the person that they've bullied, i.e. someone who is just verbally abusive, who hurts the person a lot. No, that person should just go away. Not a bully to lover. Enemies to lovers. An example of this for me would be in Spinning Silver, where our main protagonist is basically kidnapped by a fae lord, and they grow to mutually respect each other, learn about each other, and by learning about each other they fall in love with each other. I mean, it's abusive because, you know, she's kidnapped. Oh, I'm seeing so many flaws with my ideas here. Number 3, slow burn. I don't mean a book that's dragging its heels. I mean you really see the romance growing to the point where you are yelling at the book before it happens. An example of this for me would be in Bridget Collins' The Binding. Oh, I was screaming. Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I mean, Matt's dad and Matt read it before I did, and his dad used to just sit smirking at me whilst I was reading this book. Yeah. Also, Naomi Novik's Spinning Silver, I was yelling. I was on the face side, sorry. Number 4, Insta Lust. Again, bear with me. Insta love is the one you are most commonly going to hear, and that's like instant fall in love. We're not into that here. I'm talking about Insta Lust. That is where you have two people who see each other and go, I'd like a bit of that. Not love, not relationship. They just saw each other and are like, I want on. They want to get it on. They want to have a good time. Those good times could then grow into love. And this is, you know, like where friends with benefits sort of storylines kind of come in. They're two friends who are attracted to each other, so they get it on quite a lot. But then when they try to just be friends, feelings have grown. Number 5, the love triangle. This can be done very, very, very badly. I'm only referring to where it's done well. It can be very hit and miss. But an example of a love triangle could be in the Hunger Games with Katniss, Peter and Gale. I enjoyed that love triangle because the two guys, they aren't fighting each other. It's Katniss grows, and it's more of a, you know, she did love Gale and then she slowly falls out of love with Gale because she's growing and changing, and her and Peter have a lot of shared trauma that they understand with each other, and so their love grows. Gale distances from her, and you can see how it naturally happens. It's not a whoever wins this battle wins the protagonist. No, I'm not into those triangles. It's just where someone has feelings for two people. It could be polyamorous, it could grow into that, and that could also be a love triangle if the two people agree to it. Also, in the duology of Daughter of the Moon Goddess, that has a love triangle in between the two male characters, and although they wind each other up, they try, it doesn't feel like they're sort of fighting each other necessarily. They're just like, yeah, but I'm good for her sometimes, because both of them are bad for her depending on what's going on. I could just be satisfied because in my opinion she chose the one I'd go with, but number 6, Forbidden Love. Now this heavily links to my enemies to lovers because it is that kind of enemies to lovers that I will enjoy. Forbidden Love refers to two characters who, for whatever reason, are not allowed to be together. Say different religions, different countries, many different things. Just families who hate each other, you know, Romeo and Juliet. They're not allowed to be together, but they meet and they want to be together, and then the whole story is them fighting to be together. I'm here for it. I like a good forbidden love. Number 7, Forced Proximity. This is where two characters are forced to be near each other, often trapped in a room together, trapped in an elevator, trapped on an island, anywhere, you name it, you can be trapped there. And it's because of this, it's forced proximity. They have no choice. They have to be near each other. And the reason I enjoy this trope is because quite often it can be hilarious. Never are two people forced into the same proximity that get on perfectly well. It's always going to be funny. And that's why I like it. I mean, you know, it's not a love story, but Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth Swann on the island in Pirates of the Caribbean, it's funny. And this links into number 8, banter. This is more of a dialogue use. But if you are creating a love interest and you want me to believe that they're in love, they've got to have a laugh. You don't often have a good love story where the characters are perfect throughout. They have to have some arguments, but I don't mean nasty ones. If you think of like couples that you see and friends who are dating that you see, how often do they poke fun at one another? And that's what I'm here for. I like it when, you know, the two love interests, they take the mick out of one another because who knows the other one better than that other person knows them. So they have the ammunition to take the piss. Number 9, Only One Bed. This is very similar to the forced proximity, but it is very specific to the one bed situation. I mean, I will admit this one is verging on cliche even for me. And yet every time it happens, I enjoy it. It's funny. Can you see my thing? I'm into rom-coms. I'm not into soppy romance. I like a laugh when I'm reading about romance or drama. It's got to be fantasy, fiction, war, or it's got to be funny. That's the romance I'm into. And Only One in the Bed is just it's always amusing. It just always is. And finally, number 10, possibly the most important, consent. Again, this is something that's cropping up more and more in more modern writing compared to older writing. And I don't mean that your characters need to sign a waiver before they get it on. I just mean respect. It should be done. You know, you should ask permission of someone else. And it can be really sexy when characters do. You know, they're in the heat of the moment and it's getting really saucy and they're nearly about to, but they pause. That pause is tantalizing, and the pause is for one to ask, may I? So yes, you may. Do it now. You know, it's exciting. That pause really adds to the drama, and not only that, it's respectful and correct because you should always ask consent. A Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, The Binding by Bridget Collins, Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan, Spin in Silver by Naomi Novik. And that is it for my top 10 tropes in romance that I actually love. Comment down below if you agree, if there's some of these that you like and you have recommendations of books that have these in, please let me know down below. Likewise, if some of these are cliches for you, then I'm sorry, I'm one of the suckers that keeps buying them. But let me know down below, do you agree with these? Or are there new ones that you didn't know about that you're quite interested to give a try? Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like what you see. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to see as soon as I upload, click that little bell down below. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Tumblr. I post my bookish pictures as well as my writing tips and unboxings on there. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye!